Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a what sold monthly recap type of video. In these videos, what I like to do is kind of go over a handful of sales that fall into 3 different categories. And those categories are my high dollar sales, so sales that I had that were $50 and above. I also like to talk about my worst sales, so my lowest dollar sales, because I feel like that's important too, to know what not to pick up again. And I will also be going over my quickest, fastest sales, the sales that I made within 1 week of listing them. Let's jump in. First thing I want to talk about is my sales goal. My monthly sales goal is $1,000 of profit from the sites that I sell on. So $1,000, but then I have to take out my cost of goods and all my other costs from that $1,000. So just to be clear about what that actual number is. This month I was pennies, cents away from hitting this goal, which was a little sad, but essentially I made my goal. So what I made this past month in June was $999.03. So I don't know, I think I'm gonna give it to myself. I think I'm just gonna say, okay, technically you kind of made your goal, technically you didn't, but it's okay. I'm still gonna call it a win. Let's talk about my best sales, highest dollar amount sales this past month. We're gonna start at 50 and work our way up. So our $50 sale also has a couple other overlapping things I'll talk about. And I'll put a picture of what I'm talking about over here so you can see the item. This was an LL Bean jacket. It was new with tags. It was their Mountain Classic Anorak. It was like color blocked. It had a little Aztec trim around where the pocket was. It was actually very nice. It was very lightweight. Like I said, it was new with tags. I considered keeping it for myself, but the colors and the style just wasn't quite me. This one ended up selling on Poshmark for $50. And the bonus to this one is it sold within 6 days. So it was a quick sale, it was a higher dollar sale, and I'm very happy with it. Next was a $60 sale, and this was a pair of Cole Haan shoes. And yeah, these were men's, and these ones sold, so I'm looking at my spreadsheet. These ones also sold on Poshmark. I gave them a 20% discount for $60. So actually, weirdly enough, Cole Haan has been selling better for me recently than it has in the past. I also noticed that Cole Haan men's is selling better than the, what was it, Johnson and Murphy or something that I've been picking up. So I think what I'm going to start doing is maybe not picking up the Johnson Murphy one and picking up more of the Cole Haan. I had stopped picking up Cole Haan because it wasn't really selling, but now that it is, I'm going to reevaluate. Next one sold for $64.99, which I believe means it was a full price sale. Yeah, full price sale on eBay. Now we'll get into this one. This was a cloth and stone dress, and after doing all the photos and stuff, I realized that it was a crisscross, like it crisscrossed here and then like kind of was a halter neck. I wish I would have known that when I was taking the photos, but it's okay. This was also new with tags. It was like kind of a burnt orange kind of color, very beautiful. I believe it may have been linen as well. It was an extra small, and this one sold for like the $64.99 full price, like I said, on eBay. It also sold within 4 days, so great sale, full price sale, and quick sale. But guess what? They want to return it. It's on eBay. Unfortunately, I do. Unfortunately and fortunately, I allow returns on eBay, so I'm very bummed about this being returned. And obviously, with this return, I will go under my goal, my monthly goal, so that is a bummer, but it has not been returned yet, so I am just holding out that they just don't return it. But yeah, that would have been a really awesome sale, and maybe it still is. fingers crossed. So next is going to be a $74.99 sale, which is also going to be from eBay, also a full price sale. And this one, what is it? Oh, okay, so this was a pair of Hoka sandals, recovery slip-on, and they were new with tags, and they were like this blue color. They were actually really nice. They were men's. They were size 11. Like I said, sold for $74.99, and it sold within 1 day of me listing. I feel like my lighting's changing. It's because I'm using natural light, and yeah, sorry about that. I just noticed it changed. Anyway, so high dollar sale, quick sale, new tags, full price sale. Awesome. I'm so excited about that one. And then just a penny more at $75, I sold a pair of Larry Mahan? I don't know, I'm probably butchering that name. Croc design cowboy boots, I believe these were. And these sold on Poshmark. I did give them a 35% discount. I probably could have held out and got more for these, because they literally sold same day. I mean, like, I don't know, but you know what? I was still very happy with that sale, and so I took it. Even though I could have held out to get more money, I feel like these quick flips, if they are not a low ball offer, I'm willing to take them because it's such a quick turnaround and I'm getting that money back, right? So again, high dollar sale, quick flip, awesome. I'm very happy with that. Okay, now we are moving on to the last high dollar sale. This is a good sale. Now, I will say these had tons and tons of interest. I had questions being asked about these. I actually even had other offers. I had, I sent out a ton of offers. I had people actually purchase it and then just not pay. So this was a very much like, had a lot going on with this one. There were a pair of Nike shoes and they were a size 9. They sold on eBay, so fingers crossed they keep them. And they sold for $149.99. Now, is that a full price sale? That was a full price sale. Can you believe it? That was a full price sale after I had sent out tons of offers. So I guess waiting on this one turned out to be really great and worked in my favor. So that was awesome. It was not a quick sale by any means, but it was a full dollar, very high sale. So yay! I'm very, very happy with those. Super exciting. I hear Luna, so I'm gonna pause and I'll come right back and we'll finish up the rest of this video. Hang tight. We are back. Sorry for that little blip. Now we can continue. I feel like I'm a little close. Okay, that's a little better. I feel like we have a little more room here and we're not all super close. All right, so I've got a couple of not so great sales to share with you. Although I don't have a ton and I don't have really, really low dollar sales like I normally do, like $5 and stuff like that, because I did not do an auction this past month in June on eBay, and that's usually where my really, really low sales come from. The low sales that I'm about to share with you, I think mostly came from Poshmark. Let me look. 2 came from Poshmark and 1 came from eBay. And they were all kind of a rollover from the previous month, because they all came through on the 2nd, June 2nd. So let's just go through these super, super quick. Maybe I should have done an auction and I would have made my goal. Like I said, I only needed like $1 more to meet it. I don't know. I did a lot of markdowns. I just didn't do an auction. Yeah, I did a lot of markdowns. So anyway, let's jump in. So I have an $8.49 sale, $8.49. This had to have been eBay, yeah. From eBay, it was a J. Jill dress. Actually a very cute navy dress, very casual, classic. And like I said, this one sold for $8.49. I believe this was an auction. Like I said, it rolled over from the previous month. And it got bid up a little bit. The other two actually were from Poshmark when I ran like a silent show. And I had everything marked at $10, and this person actually bundled 2 items together. So each item was $10, and I'm just gonna do it out that way versus like the total of their sale. So the first item was a produce company jacket. It was very multicolor. It was like a thicker material, kind of artsy. I don't know, I would say like your art teacher kind of vibes. Very cute, size medium. And then also a New Tags Rachel Zoe top. It was very cute, very fallish. Had little flutter sleeves, and that was in a size small. And yeah, so both sold for $10. So those were my not so great sales this past month. But again, I didn't really have those $5 lower sales because I didn't really run auctions, and I didn't really do super low dollar start silent auctions. Now let's move into our super duper quick, fast flips, which is always the best. I feel like quick flips and high dollar sales are just chef's kiss when it comes to reselling. So this is always very important. These are things that I always note very carefully. I did already talk about a couple of my really quick sales that paired up with my high dollar sales, so I'm not going to repeat those, but I will go over the ones I didn't talk about yet. Let's start at 7 days. So an item that took 1 full week to sell was, a Prana dress. This was like an athletic kind of razorback dress. Can't remember if it had like a built-in bra situation or not, but these razorback athletic dresses are selling. This was in a size medium. I sold it on Poshmark for full price, $45. And it sold again in 7 days. So that was a really good pickup. Prana usually doesn't sell that quickly, but I think this style of dress is just really in right now, or it's just in higher demand. Now for a 6-day sale that I have not talked about already. This was actually just sold the other day, so hopefully they like it. So this is a little bit interesting to describe because you'll see the picture here, but it's not technically all of it. So this is by Honest the Label, and it's like a 2-piece dress kind of set, but I didn't have the top portion, so I only had like the skirt bottom portion. You could absolutely wear this with any crop top. You could even wear it with a non-crop top, but I think for this look, like they paired it with a crop top, right? So you could really wear this with any crop top and make it look really nice and make it look similar to this style that they were going for. When I was at the thrift store, I just couldn't find the top piece, and I looked up the brand. It seemed like a good brand, so I picked it up. I did this very similar thing with another brand where I had the skirt part of this 2-piece dress set. It didn't sell. So I'm very surprised that this one sold. I did sell it at a steeper discount because I just wasn't super confident in this piece because of my experience with the last one. So I did take a $28 sale, and it sold within 6 days. So I'm happy with that. We really did talk about so many of these already, these quick sales. So I think the only other one left, and I had quite a few quick sales. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had 7 sales within 7 days. So my last one I'm going to talk about sold within 1 day. So again, a very quick flip. And these were a pair of Bionic sandals, flip-flops, brown men's. These were size 9, and I'm pretty sure I sold an identical one of these last month. Last month I sold it for full price. This time I did not get that lucky. I don't know if they were the same size or not, but they were both men's. They were both brown. They looked exactly the same. So this pair I sold for $40, and I believe this was on Poshmark as well. Oh no, this one was on eBay. So that sold on eBay within 1 day. So yeah, that kind of wraps up all of my sales, kind of a little overview of how I've been doing as far as my reselling goes in the month of June. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Hope you got a little bit of information from it. I know I do. I always learn from these videos. I feel like sitting down and talking about it and seeing the information in my spreadsheet really just kind of helps, you know, me remember. So I appreciate you watching. I hope you all have a wonderful and beautiful rest of your day. Take care, everyone. Bye.